Oh, me too. I just sat with my computer the whole time and I loved it.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Pulling up all the goods. Tomas, good to see you here. Tomas was kind enough to wake me up this morning to make sure that I'm staying on my fitness goals. Lovely. Yeah. It's incredible. I don't know if you guys put this in, but I will share it because I think it's super relevant. A lot of this information, like, it's best when served all quickly, like when we're talking about build outs and the rest. And it's so I know it has to be done in like a few different angles all the same time, but holy fucking shit, every day is 9 to 11 hours of phone calls, literally, no joke. It's just like I put down one, I pull up the other, and I'm just like boom, boom, boom. You should see my calendar. It's just a nightmare. You can't even see the back wall. Anyways, if you're not doing that, you're not growing your thing. So just keep that in mind. Look at me. I look like shit. But it's a how would you call it? A season of work. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull this up. How's everyone doing today? Pretty good?
Really good.
All right, we're gonna start with a little amperage. I want to hear a little bit of some wins from people. Let's start with some wins. Get me up a little bit hyped, get you up a little bit hyped, and then we'll go ahead and jump in. So let's hear a couple of wins so far. It's happened last few days. Anyone got anything fancy?
Well,
start calling names.
I'll tell you guys, I've been consistent now, running 3 times a week. I know it's not much, but I mean, I'm into working out, but cardio sucks. You guys know it probably. So
all right, cardio.
I can do all the ways, the calisthenics, the whatever, but cardio. So yeah,
Yep.
it's been a couple of weeks now. Going pretty good.
Congratulations, man. That's a good win. Anyone else? Let's hear 2 more wins.
I have something. Well, besides the fucking sunshine is out for the first time in days,
Yeah, you
which I
stole
will
it.
take that.
You don't have any of it. It's so bleak.
I will take the sunshine. I have another high ticket person that should be coming in another week or so, and then a couple of people on board for the low ticket. So it's in the works. I will fucking take it. So
amazing. You're my hero, Sarah. I love to hear that. That's fantastic. Just
Sarah
killing it.
is
See,
everybody's hero. I love Sarah.
That's right. She is everybody's hero. That should be you're just the school hero.
Yeah.
We're just gonna start branding you as that. All right, let's hear one more victory.
It's raining here heavily in Oregon, as always. It's been nonstop, but I don't know if this is a win or not. It's a big win for me. I'm kind of changing everything. I know we talked instead of harmonic SEO, because the SEO, I think I forgot who I was talking to, limiting myself. So now I'm going with Harmonic Growth Alliance and going more for the agency and coaches now rather than just SEO people.
Very cool. And
because I got some killer stuff coming out for school owners next year. So, and it's been testing and case studies. We got some already testimonials for it. So, got some stuff. So agency and coaches now is my target market versus SEO enthusiasts, which made no sense to everybody I talked to. So that's a win for me, meaning I'm revamping everything. But see, the cool thing is I got this to start over, kind of to go from scratch and build it correctly and stuff. So I'm super excited.
Hell yeah. Oh, you mean the Odyssey?
Yeah, the Odyssey. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine I'm starting over, but I got the Odyssey.
Yeah, there you go. Do you guys like that better than Protocol? I think I like it better than Protocol.
I do. I like it.
Yeah. Kudos to Robbie, wherever he is. That was a great idea. Totally fantastic. All right. Last question for everyone. Did you all do your morning affirmation? Today, something wonderful is going to happen to me. If you didn't, go ahead and do that for the next 10 seconds while I'm preparing. Today, something wonderful is going to happen to you. Today.
What's funny, I showed that to my spouse last night, and she did it with you while you're watching the video. She's watching the video and saying it behind me. I'm like, look at you.
Hell yeah, man. See, those are exactly the kinds of things that it's way more fun when you see someone put yourself in that situation. So I get that. Those are usually the videos that I'm like, well, maybe I'll just sing along a little bit. Wonderful. So thank you all for being here. As you all know, this is day 2 of the Odyssey. Feel free to step in with questions whenever you have them. But the main objective is to take everyone from A to Z on what a full build looks like. This is the 30K high ticket that I normally charge, and I don't love doing that a ton, so I'm putting that more into the low ticket. I like working in these environments a lot more, so that's what brings me here. Jonas has given us the honor of watching us abuse him for the next 5 sessions, beginning with this one. So we're gonna jump.
The honor is mine.
And we're gonna jump in here and make a mess while everyone watches. Okay, so I am pulling up. Oh, Jonas, by the way, let me share this screen. This is where we're gonna start right here. I gave him an option of 2 profile pictures, and he elected for the one where he is very, very old.
Yeah, I think it stands out kind of.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. That is what you need to be saying. If your profile image does not stand out in some fashion, gradients are the best way to leverage this. Then you're missing out. It's a completely missed opportunity. By the way, when I did the automatic cutout of your head, it turned into just like a party. It was like Jello. So I had to put your head just high enough that it's going off the screen. It's a great photo. All right, so we ended last time with having all of this. Section 1, clarity, is about the offer, and anything that is quickly gained by just looking at it. Looks like we also have 2 links that were placed on there. That's pretty exciting. I'm excited to hear a bit more about that. But today is culture. This is the part that a lot of people end up skipping. Joseph, you're talking about the Canva templates in order to change the...
Yeah, the ones that you said yesterday. You said we have all the Canva templates, the ones that you did the background, all that. I was wondering where they were. I couldn't find them yesterday.
Please shoot me a message, and I will remind me. So at the end of this call, I'll go ahead and grab it for you and put it somewhere in the classroom. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, so the thing that most people skip a lot along this road, as I said yesterday, is culture, which also includes onboarding, but it's really all about the vibe, rules, tone, theme, and expectations, unspoken. How do members meet, share, win, dance, etc. So let's go ahead and begin right here. Perfect. Oh, look at that. Doing well, man. Okay, so let's edit this. All right. So now let's do day 1, day 2. Wonderful. So this is where we're going to begin. I would like to hear from you, Jonas, 3 things that you want people to feel when they go to your community. The reason why we're doing this is because just like with the who, what, why, if you can start, I mean, this is where I vote for because I'm a bit more from the emotional side. I like feeling and interacting with people on that kind of level. So I feel like it's usually the best way to begin. What are the 3 things you'd like, if you could only pick 3 things for people to feel when they enter your space, what would you like it to be?
I think it would be probably actionability, so that they can take easy action on the contents. Then empowerment, in a sense, to pursue their passion projects while also making a profit from them simultaneously. So it's all about making films and through these films getting clients, I think. So using the films they love as lead magnets for clients they care about. So this is what it should be about after we had the conversation yesterday.
Okay. Give me one more.
Empowerment, actionability, support group, which is also kind of empowerment.
Okay. Awesome.
Or like
so
finding their others, kind of finding like-minded.
Like-minded. Okay. Now, you know what's funny is that from yesterday, you were very fluffy and I was very solid. And now today you're very solid. And as you're going to find, I'm going to be a bit more fluffy today. This is your opportunity to be more artsy fartsy. I've never gone to a movie and watched it and been like, man, I felt so much actionability while I was in that chair. I felt like completely 100% like-minded, right? Maybe I could feel empowered, but I'm not sure if that's the emotion I would really describe. Imagine that your community is a movie. Give me
Okay.
the next, something that's actionable makes you feel what?
I think the actionability is more coming from past people I was working with, and they wanted like immediately something they could put into practice. So I was starting
Yeah.
to go with storytelling concepts and the history of cinema, and they found it very nice. But like what they actually wanted was to do their first film fast and edit it in some way, and then learn
Fuck.
through the process.
In this case, this is just about you. So yesterday I was like, no, it's not about you. Today I'm saying, no, this is just about you, baby. This is your space. You get to tell people what kind of tone and energy you deliver to the table.
So
and you get to tell them how they
that-
feel when they walk in the door.
Yeah, in that case, I would like to feel like an artistic environment that is driven by doing the things despite lack of possibilities, maybe like a run and gun approach to filmmaking that is not yet like maybe a Hollywood approach, but it uses the means they have to do the things they want, which is also in like an entrepreneurial spirit almost. So you see what you have around you and you try to make that work into something.
So I'm going to translate it into a word, and you can tell me if this is correct. Would I feel inspired?
I hope so. Yeah, that's a good one. Inspiration.
I think if we kept following that train of thought that you have, I think, oh, Diana, we're on the same freaking page. I love that. Yeah, inspired. Cool. Yeah, she also suggested excited. There's also excited. Would that be one of the three?
Yeah, like following the joy kind of. So
okay, tell me more. I like that. Maybe even scared of the possibilities ahead. I'm sure all of us feel that whenever we jump into a situation where we're building out a community and we're like, is this going to be the future of what we do? And we're like, yeah, I'll just do a few hours of that a day. And you realize, oh shit, this is going to take like a lot of hours of my time. This is like an actual business. Do you want people to feel excited, playful, silly?
A place where they can be their true selves. Like
Okay.
No judgmental space, and where they can also share work in progress to get constructive feedback rather than having it too perfect in the first place.
I like Sarah's suggestion of relaxed. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, or maybe comfortable is better, actually. Yeah, I agree with her. Which do you think is better, relaxed or comfortable?
Collaborative.
Collaborative. Ooh, I'm feeling collaborative. I like that. Juicy. Okay.
So that they take like the strengths of each other and combine it to kind of connect their puzzles in some sense.
Okay. And then, all right, so inspired, collaborative, what else?
And they would get not necessarily a roadmap, because there might not be like a one-fits-all suggestion, but a customized plan that suits their needs and goals.
Okay, tell me a bit more. What's the feeling that they get? Oh, that's cool. Safe's a good one.
Yeah, confident to experiment. Also, they cut through all of the trial and error needed to make it work through some suggestions that have worked in the past.
Beautiful. Okay, so we have inspired, collaborative, and like-minded. Now, when you think of these, what color are they?
Inspired is orange, collaborative green, confident purple.
Let me go ahead and collaborative is orange, you said?
Hmm?
Or inspired? Inspired is orange, collaborative is green.
Confident purple.
Wonderful. I love how quickly you answered those.
And they can kind of visualize their ideas and connect with others to connect, like grow a community around their values themselves.
So it
Really
sounds
well.
like connected. That's a good question. Is connected better than collaborative, or do you like collaborative?
Connect is also good. It's collaborative environment, connected spirit.
Okay. Now, based off of what you're saying, it sounds like you think this is the most important piece, yes? Which is the most important from 1 to 3?
I think actually, like from working with the people, like not to make it about me now, as you said, but to make it about them, it was to get feedback on their work actually, so that they can. We take a look together at their films, for example, or showreel, and then based on that, give suggestions what they can improve. That was, and that gives them the confidence, kind of, to continue.
Okay, so you think confidence is the number one thing?
I mean, it's a mixture of all. I think one has to be hand in hand with the other. It is
Okay. If you had to choose, though, if you had to just pick one,
probably they come for inspiration and creativity in the first place, but then they realize they need money to keep that going, and then I think film is a collaborative practice, so connectedness is important in itself. You need a cinematographer, editor, director, so community is needed to make it happen. But I don't think it's the first step to why they started.
Okay, so wait, you said the first one was which one?
Actually, I don't know it. What is the most important? Like inspired, connected, confident. They need confidence to get started at all. So I think confidence is important. Craft confidence and creative confidence. Believe in themselves and they want to do.
I love it. And then inspired and then connected. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is coming probably, like, if we go to this hierarchy, then at last, because first they need to trust themselves to actually make even a little thing and then put it out to show it to others at all. I think that's the hardest to get started with something. Like what is the same struggle I'm having with the community itself, right? We were finding a lot of parallels, and like getting an imperfect prototype out there and trusting yourself that it will grow, I think is one of the hardest steps. So I would take that back to this. Do something small and then have it grow.
Yeah. Okay. Great. This is awesome. So we'll get into this a bit more, but this is your culture. This is the easiest, most straightforward way I've found to be able to do that rather than an explanation or sentence.
That was great.
Now, when we get into probably the next one would be your tone. What's the tone that you'd like to carry? So that's basically what your inflection is like when you communicate something.
I think this is also something that I might need to change or adopt a bit, because for now I was also striving for a tonality that is maybe found in gallery spaces or in art critics or something, which is almost like, you don't have a lot of M-joys or something. You don't try to convince people through emotional actions. You try to make it through more like through logical content. And I'm open to change it in the context of the community. I see it's just much more approachable. So tonality, yeah, of course, friendly.
Is it serious? Is it playful?
I once had a client, and then it was like he booked for his son, he wanted to make a film, and then the son kind of lost the joy in it, and the father told me, yeah, he could be doing like a very strict, production, and that goes into technical processes, but it was not fun for the son. So then in the end, like, you can't convince a child to not do something fun. So I think fun is part of it.
Yep.
If some
Okay.
child enjoys it, probably an adult also, but it should still stick like to a not serious way of unfunny sense, but like I think it should target people that actually want to make films, and then
Okay.
not someone who would be in for 1 hour and then decides, yeah, he rather becomes a horse rider or something. So
Is
certain
it playful or fun?
I think open is a good one. That was in the purpose-driven and playful. Fun is something that is coming through the process, I think, of making the film. So the fun is a big part of it, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then give me one more word.
I'm super happy I don't need to do this myself, because it's very nice to spare that kind of. Actually, thanks for that.
Yeah, you got it, man. Believe me, I've been on the other side before.
Yeah. Tone. Practical, fun, artistic, experimental.
There we go. I kind of like that. So this is how you talk. This is how we feel. Like this. All right. Practical, fun, and experimental.
And like a friend, kind of. So there's no strict hierarchy. It is friendly.
Like that. Cool. Okay. That feels really good.
Trust.
Diana, did you have a question?
No, not really a question, but when you mentioned in the very beginning, like, oh, I thought about like an exhibition room and so on. So I would still keep the idea of you open a very specific space. So it might not be just like the audience and like the distance of an exhibition, like literally like that more modern art thing where like the audience might be part of the whole thing and the process. And if you could keep that sense, I think that would suit your audience pretty good well.
I think so too, and also it's easier for me to not juggle multiple things in my life, because I would like to be coherent with all I'm doing and not have like one aspect where I have to act in some way that I'm not. So make it also suited to the way I just am, or I think I'm like I would have a hard time to act as somebody in the long run. I don't want to do that, but I'm okay to showing up for who I am, but that's a process of figuring out, right? I think we all have like identity can be shifted also, or you can, no matter which people you're with, you're acting on different roles. So if somebody's in the end paying me to work with them, this is a professional relation also. So yes, it's friendly, but it's there still should be like a certain respect towards each other's privacy, I would say. But I think that your approach seems to work, and I don't have an approach yet, so I'm just open to figure out what can work for me without feeling inauthentic or something. But we're in a good way. I think yeah.
That's okay. This is perfectly fine. These are all completely changeable, but it's good to have them written down somewhere where you can look back at them and be like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing it. See you, Sarah. Okay, so the Mignon just posted a suggestion of 3. Did you like any of those?
I like adventurous a lot. Also exploring speaks to me, and curious itself, because it's always about getting more knowledge. And
yeah. So which of those is your favorite?
practical, friendly, experimental, curious, exploring, adventurous. So I think this is kind of even two different things, because curious, exploring, adventurous is more what they will do when they go on the adventure of
I don't mean in a list of 3, like of the 6. If you had to pick I'll put it this way: which of the 3 of Mignon stand out to you? Sounded like adventurous did.
Adventurous, yes.
Okay,
Exploring, experimental has the same goal, so I
So
would
just leave
go
this?
for adventurous.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the same. Adventure means exploration, curiosity, and
great. Beautiful. Okay, I think that's good. We have it written down. Now we just have one more part, and then we get to 2 more parts, and then we're good. So this next part here, this is let's see, notes here. Yeah. Okay, so our next one is meet, share, and win. This is how everyone interacts in your space. So when you imagine how they do that, how are they meeting? Usually you have introductory posts, but you can also have games that you play. You have to have a way for everyone.
This idea of having this 1-day film challenge or something where they can, like, within the means they have, just do something short, like a 30-second video that then gets edited, which could be like just a diary excerpt of their day, and then they add title, color graded, exported. But they had the whole journey of making something fast and easy on the phone. I think that could be something fun. And then it would be nice for them to get like the whole roadmap kind of to how they build their portfolio and why they should build a portfolio at all, and what things to put in, namely the things that they want also to get hired for, to kind of show the world what they want to be known for or seen, and then how they can put that out to get clients. First by maybe test clients and then convert them to paying clients, and also introduce them to the idea of having a retainer with our clients. So tackle specifically people that need their ongoing service. And
so it sounds like this is actually the win. They get to do this and find wins.
It would be like the first short thing that they can, that keeps them maybe staying in the group at all.
Okay.
Because then they would get feedback and they would have a short success.
Okay.
I think what I don't want to bore them with concepts a lot. I think that's something that comes after, so that they understand why a certain title or why a certain edit pace. I think this is all things that is like the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
That's not needed in the first place.
Okay. So it sounds like, based off what you're saying, that's a win. They compete in this thing and they get clients and they win something. Is that correct?
Yeah, they make a short film, they get feedback, and then they get ideas for the next longer film. So
okay, lovely. So then, how would they meet specifically?
Sorry, can you repeat? How would they meet?
How would they meet each other? Is it like by accident? Is it intentionally? If intentionally, how?
I think ideally it would be a weekly group call to begin with and scheduled one-on-ones, so that I would just learn more about them and offer them like just a free consultation kind of as a
careful with one-on-ones. It's what they think they want and it's what you think you should deliver, but it's the lowest ROI delivery of information.
I believe so too. I would just do that in the beginning kind of
So single onboarding. Okay, but we're not talking about them with you necessarily. We're talking about them with each other, because we want this. This is there's two methods of community that are very, very starkly different. You've got Guru, which is I'm the leader and I am connected to all of you individuals. And then you've got network, which is everyone is buddies with each other. So if you lose a connection to the leader, you're still there because your buddies are there. These are the people you've been working with for a long time, and they're all at the same place that you are. They know what you're struggling with, and you know what they're struggling with. So this is a network model. So we're just talking about how they meet with each other. So it sounds like on a weekly group call, you would also be like, hey, what's going on, everybody? What did you do? What did you do? Have you met each other?
I never had a group call with the clients so far.
Boom. All right. Well, it looks like you now do. Love
Yeah.
it. All right. How do they share, and what do they share?
Like usually what I did in the before kind of was to have like a 50 or 15-minute consultation. It usually went longer, just to get to know them and see like what I can help them. And then usually I was like summarizing if I could help them, what they told me, and was creating like an offer around that. And then seeing kind of if I'm first a good person to help them, and then in 50% or something I am. Otherwise, I don't. I just say them, I'm not the right person for you. And then we book like a thing that I make up, kind of, that is based on experiences before. So I don't have like a fixed pricing strategy, but it's almost always the same. So
I'll be a little bit more specific. What I'm looking for here is, what would they share with each other? What could they share with each other?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. They would share their portfolio. They would share their current website to get feedback on it. They would share problems they have when editing or something. They have a lot of problems when editing, like really simple things, but these problems can be very confusing. And then it's just good, like, okay, do this and that. And just a short, usually I do like a short recording on the phone, do it myself, and then send them how they can do it. That was always helpful.
I love that. Okay. Now the one last part here, you'll just want to consider, we're not going to go over it. We're not going to go over it right now. We'll come up with this later on, activation points, but just be considering what do they win in this situation, okay? So we'll get to that later on. Okay, that feels good. Now we only have one last spot, and then we can start implementing all of this. The last bit is theme, okay? If you were to guess what the Captivate theme is, what would you say it is?
Probably being your authentic self and drilling through that.
That's cool.
And
okay.
Like, to be different in some way, which is also the way why I booked your call in the first place, because I was also checking out other groups, kind of like just as a member or something. And then they said things like, oh, you're not allowed to use a domain that is not a .com. And it has to be like with a, I don't know, like that was just felt wrong. Because maybe it's true, but it's also a bit 2000 or something. And I like your approach more.
Very cool. Okay. Thank you, Jonas. Anyone else? What would you say the theme of Captivate is? Let's hear a couple of answers. If you were to guess, based off what you see.
Fun and excitement.
Cool. I like that. Differentiation. Love that. One more. Having fun while building. Yeah, I love that. These are all fantastic. I think possibly a lot of them are true. I designed it to be like childhood. So I picked a theme of Pokemon and colors because those are my obsessions. And so my theme was very much, and out of it came game. So I would go as far as saying like Pokemon or childhood, something like this. So you can see why that's interesting to people, because it's very unusual to have something like that in a business community. You usually don't have them there. So it's a good way to naturally stand out, because I don't know if you're familiar with this, if anyone's familiar with this, but humor, the definition of humor is considered two things that draw a relation to each other that are otherwise unrelated. So this thing I'm familiar with, this thing I'm familiar with, but they're separate. And yet in this instance, they happen to be one where you normally wouldn't draw that parallel. And that is where humor comes from. That's like the scientific approach to it. So in that same way, if you're able to take a theme and grab something that does not usually belong with what you're doing, it actually works really well, which is counter to the strategy that most people will ever take, which is, this doesn't make sense, I have to do it so it makes sense, which doesn't make sense. So in this case, if you were to pick a single theme that you would follow along, what do you think you would choose?
I think, like, from what you were saying, I resonate a lot with what you did say, and the playfulness for me is yet coming on a different, like on a different platform maybe, which is like more the poetic one. So it does have this contradictory to it, which is saying something but meaning the other, and by that you have like this question embodied. And I think it's, for example, like, to be just an example, meet me at the road that never ends or something. And I would stick with poetry in some way, but also have it open to be based in reality. So the 2 foot on the ground, but the mind in the cloud, kind of. If that makes sense to you.
So like a daydreamer?
Yeah, it's dreamy, and it's coming from imagination. It's yeah, which is also kind of a childhood vibe. Yet, so imagination and adventure, like when you're on as a child, like in the wild outside with your friends, kind of, and you see things for the first time, and you say, oh my god, there's this river, let's jump into it. And this is what is great about art, because you can go with these desires, kind of. And then I see that the group theme is still a lot around filmmaking, and yeah, maybe that's a challenge that I'm having, that I'm so much in the art world, kind of mentally, and in the film. Yeah, but then I have my main income coming through commercial video productions. But this is something maybe we could solve in a different section. I see that it does not make sense to go into it detail now, because I really like what we did here. So I think it's really about imagination, exploration, like in a National Geographic sense.
So I'm gonna push a little bit further and tell me if this is along those lines. What if you had something that was Peter Pan themed?
Some word that always stuck with me was Phantom Island.
Phantom Island. Well, I mean, Jan just came up with something really good. What was that? It was pulling the thing here. Island of Misfit Toys. I love that. Phantom Island. So tell me more about this Phantom Island thing.
I mean, I had it as my first portfolio, kind of, and I ran into that thought while jogging. If you go on this website, you have it on the top left. But then it always, like, it was not really a company. It was not really like a pseudonym, so I never could use something to make with it.
Okay.
I had my first freelance portfolio with that, and then I kept changing the names until all of my clients were confused, including myself. So I'm so grateful for all of you to go through this, because it has been a real nightmare, I can tell you. You know, because every time you build something, it takes time, and then some client says, hey, he does not like the name, and then you think, oh shit, maybe the one before was better, and then, oh my god, yeah, that was painful.
I hear you. I totally hear you.
So Peter Pan is great, but I think it's I like imagination.
What could we put instead of Peter Pan? But you see the direction we're going. We're trying to find like an actual thing.
I think it is great. There's a book by Henri Corbin, which is Mundus Imaginalis, and it talks like about imagination as being a place. And I think this is where the whole Phantom Island thing is also coming from. So it goes towards going to the introspect to find ideas you have and bring them outside somehow through painting, filmmaking, storyboarding, whatever, website making, any medium you have. But it's based on like not meditation necessarily, but like seeing what you see when your eyes are closed and making that something. And I think that's what motivates me, at least, to do something.
So does this make sense? Imagination Island's got a tropical vibe to it, but at the same time, it's very in the clouds.
I think it's you're very considerate in listening to me. Thank you for that. Really.
Mhm.
I think it's going in a good direction, like visionary creating in some sense.
Yeah. Do you like this, or do you want to take it a step further?
I think Imagination Island is a good direction, but I'm open to like going further, But
I mean, you can always take it a little bit further. My recommendation is to pick a Disney movie that it relates to.
Yeah, I would like it to feel like a 60s Paris coffee vibe conversation, kind of. Where
So
you have
Reddit.
you have kind of different fields coming together, intellectuals, entrepreneurs, writers, filmmakers, and they just exchange themselves on what they're passionate about.
So
And
what was the
through that-
time period?
Like just as a time frame, but like it's the 60s in Paris in the coffee culture, like
Okay.
as
All
a
right.
as being,
I could be wrong. Where was Lady and the Tramp? Where did that take place?
gotta check.
Was that New York or was that Paris? Does anyone know?
Oh yeah, that's cute. That's cute. I think it's, I don't know, Paris maybe, or
They were eating spaghetti, so I don't know if that's Paris, France.
Let me check.
Spaghetti.
Where
They were rolling a ball of spaghetti to each other, and that's all I know.
it
it's
says.
an unidentified New England town in 19.
Oh, interesting. New England in 1955. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that could work. You could have a
pretty-
lady.
The restaurant was Italian, so
Yeah, it was an Italian restaurant. That's right. The most
I like
famous
it.
scene. Okay, great. So it looks like that, like I can definitely see tones of purple and orange in an image like that. But that's actually really big. Do you love that?
I think it's pretty cute, I must say.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, if you love that, then what we just landed on was a very, very significant point. This might actually be the most important one, and it's ridiculous, but here's why. The reason is because your theme, and that's why we do the theme last in this process of 4, is because the theme is, it's your overarching, it's like your grandest feeling. It's like your sense of nostalgia or relatability, greater than like these are more micro feelings that you would have. This is like a feeling that you have where you're watching something and it reminds you of what Jonas is doing, right? That's the kind of thing that we're talking about here. So
I got a sec, not to interrupt you, but I was just
Go ahead.
posting. It's from 2 movies. From the one is Gilles and Jim, and the second one is from Jean-Luc Godard, where they're running through the museum, kind of. It's a pretty iconic scene that is that's transporting a lot what I would care about for this community to be, kind of. I posted the. But yeah, it's.
oh, you're putting it in the chat?
I did.
Okay, let me see. Oh, good. That's cool. They're in the Louvre, it looks like.
But I also like The Lady and the Tramp. I think it's all going into the right direction.
Okay. All right. Well, for the time being, let's be adventurous and less practical in this case. We'll be a little bit more adventurous, and we'll leave it as Lady and the Tramp, the slightly more adventurous out there feel. So, okay. How do you feel about all this?
It feels exciting, I would say.
Good. Yes, you should feel something. So the fact that you feel something is a good thing. We're on the right track here. All right, so that is saved now. So we're gonna go ahead and I think I'm only sharing one screen here. Let me go ahead and share the whole thing. I have a lot of windows, so if it stresses you out, apologize ahead of time. Okay, any questions with that part from anybody on the call as we're getting ready to start implementing this bad boy?
Is it always a Disney movie?
No, this is just always my recommendation.
Like, could it be like The Matrix, like Neo in The Matrix?
Yeah, it could definitely be The Matrix. Absolutely.
Oh, it could. Okay.
The reason why I default to like a Disney movie, I do the
Yeah.
same thing with like music injections as well, is because it's so rarely considered to be something that you associate with, and it's so uniquely childhood that it forces you to usually like break out from the confines of your usual thinking.
But more like kind of like an album theme, right?
Yeah, an album is a good one too. An album though is less robust than a movie.
Oh, right.
So I would recommend usually going the direction of a movie because you can have a lot more of your life that reminds you of a movie rather than a single song.
Gotcha. But sci-fi, like Matrix, that kind of stuff is all game.
Yeah, I would usually recommend like a TV show, a movie, something that takes hours to consume.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's usually going to be more defining of a period in time. This is like,
But a movie is the idea here, is kind of think of for the theme a movie.
yeah, movies are always a really good one because movie has the like when you listen to music, it does a really good job of stimulating emotion through sound in the same way that colors do that for your eyes, and a movie does kind of a combination of both. Yeah, and when you get both, you get even stronger emotions.
Yeah, because like in the Matrix, the music goes with the movie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The music is there to supplement the experience.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if you didn't have music in it, it would it'd fucking suck. So it takes like the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, great question. Anyone else? If you ever have a question about culture, now is the time to ask. It's taken it took a lot of trial and error to get done 4 fucking things. So this is a good time to ask if you have anything. Okay, then let's go ahead and begin implementing. I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this. Is that okay?
One more question though. Are
Yep.
you? So I saw how you were working with Jonas there. Are you the character in the movie, and everybody else is the movie set, or is everything just you know what I'm saying? Like, because I know you were saying us versus them and how we interact together. So are like you the star of the movie?
You're the host.
Like, is he the tramp and the
No.
like, is he acting as the tramp and he's pursuing all the ladies, as a theme?
Sure,
Like,
yeah. So the great question, by the way, very, very good question. That's important to point out. So in this case, you are the omniscient being that hosts them in the thing. So you're not actually in there. You're not the director either, but you're sort of like the person that invites them in. You're like the butler or the waiter that sort of seats them at the table.
The guy selling the popcorn, maybe at the entrance of the
Yeah,
game.
exactly. You're sort of more than you're letting on, and you're just helping guide them through
the theater.
Almost. You're very much the chauffeur or the
Concierge.
not exactly the concierge, because the concierge is there to take care of all the things that you need.
Activities, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a subtle version of this. It's a really good question because there actually is a very clear answer here. Imagine that you're at Disneyland. I'm going to use this example again since we're all pretty familiar with it. Imagine you're at Disneyland. You walk in, right? And Walt Disney himself in a cosmetic suit comes out to welcome you and says, "Okay, I've got something for you," and comes and seats you at the table. You have no idea that it's Walt, and Walt won't tell you. But he will experience with you. He knows what's going to happen, but he's not telling you. He's just bringing you through the process. That's what it's like. So in a way, it's an omniscient host. Did I explain that okay? It's a little bit complex. Does
Yeah,
anyone?
in software, he's kind of like the person giving the demo.
Yeah,
He's
for
experienced in software, and the other person is, but he's not the creator of it.
well, he could be.
But
the
he
creator.
could be the creator of it, but he's not telling them.
Correct. Yeah. Whether or not he is or is not, you would have no way of knowing.
Right, he's demoing the software, and you both of you are experiencing as if it's the first time.
Yeah, you don't know it's Sam, but this guy is teaching you how to use Skool.
Yeah, like Goose is a thing, and Goose is teaching you, and damn, that's a big name. Like, you know,
That's right.
but
Yeah,
you
just
don't
like-
know.
Yeah, but
Nobody
you have
knows.
no idea. Yeah,
You have no idea.
Yeah.
You just get the culture and the vibe and all that.
that's right. Yeah. Oh man, I love these suggestions from Mignon. She's on fire over here in the corner. You seen those, Jonas?
They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. Cool. Awesome question, Joseph. That's great.
Playful rebellion. That's good.
Playful rebellion. Wow. That's really good. I really like those double meaning lines where you have like fiercely quiet or fiercely friendly, something like this. Aggressively
Or
aggressively polite, something like that. I love those kinds of things. I get really into. Yeah, you're on the right track there.
I think one more thing that you guys want people to share with each other is the wins. I think that's an important part of the culture. So I think maybe we forgot to put in that.
Okay, let me take a look. Right here, you mean?
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, I guess not. Let me do that.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, right here, you mean?
Yeah, portfolio website problems. And then I think wins also matter. And they should be coming in like almost every day. So people think that, okay, people in here are winning every single day. So why not me?
How often would this challenge happen?
Not the win. I'm saying the one above it, MSW. So
Oh, to make sure that the share wins. Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually normally leave that out of this because wins I usually keep as a duh. Yeah, we should share them. But actually, that's a really good point. It should be in there. This is something that I should start including in there. You're absolutely right. Good job, Amon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So these all should be connected at the beginning and the end. They meet so that they can share, so that they can win, so they can share when they meet. Like this. Great point. Cool. Anything else? Beautiful. I love it. So now we are going to come back into here. Let's go ahead and dismiss. I'm going to dismiss this page. Now, one of the first places that we start is right here in this top bar, and there's a few things to keep in mind. I really tried to work carefully on this. This is probably one of the better examples you're going to find on the platform. Is not the categories I chose, but the way that it's set up. You want to have it all on one line. If this goes into another one, it just doesn't. It looks ugly. We don't want ugly things. There's so few things that we can control here. You want to bring it as close as you can to the end and make it nice and clean. Now, also, you'll notice, and I did a lot of research with these things, just like with profile photos, the emoji goes at the beginning, and you have one emoji for each thing. Also, if you have a range of colors, that's better too. In fact, I wish I had more ranges of colors. If this wasn't Rainbow Blitz, I would have put something blue in there. So we're going to go ahead and start with that for you. Because, and actually, I'm going to say one more thing about this. So there was a period of time in the office where we were talking about, Sam was showing off the new live chat feature, and we were trying to decide where it would go in the UI. And it came up like 3 or 4 times where this was almost deleted, the categories, because it could just be tossed down here. It didn't really matter. And I was the only person in the room that fought for it. And I said, guys, I really don't think we should get rid of this fucking thing. It does a really good job of, and this had been explained before in there, it does a good job of telling you what the space is going to be about without putting it in front of your face. You don't have to watch anything. You don't have to learn anything. You just take a glance. You're like, oh, I see what we're here to do. It's playful. It's fun. And these are the things I can expect. Set your expectations. It's actually a very good tool, because if you imagine this thing isn't here, you're going to have to be engaging a lot with a lot of shit in order to get a general idea of what you're about to experience. So by the time we were done, we ended up keeping it, clearly, and we ended up getting rid of the voice thing. I mean, I like the voice part too, but, you know, Sam had good reasons for getting rid of it. But we ended up keeping this thing, and that's now the tone from, you know, the leadership, is that it makes sense to have something that just welcomes people and gives them a taste of everything very gently, sets the expectations. So with that framework in mind, we're going to go here into your categories, and we're going to begin. So what would you call the catch-all? The part that, keep it in mind, everything here with your theme, everything with your tone, your vibe. What's the one thing that catches all of the information, the general?
Oof. Maybe they're miniature films they're doing, or inspiration they're having, films they like their latest recommendations.
I like that, inspiration. Okay, I don't think this is the general one, but that's good. All right, what's the emoji associated with inspiration? We can dial this in later on.
A spark or a wave.
Ooh, a spark. Do you like any of these?
You mean the collaboration? I can't see the M joys, I think, but
oh, okay, sorry.
Or an apple, you know, like an apple a day kind of, you know, inspiration a day. And
does inspo make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, cool. What inspired you? Beautiful. I love that. Okay, now let's try again for general category.
Something we had like in the first kind of semester in art and design school years ago was to do something new every day and the same thing every day, and make that like a little challenge, which was really great. So that you keep routine on one hand, but you also go out of your comfort zone on the other hand. So I think this could be something I really took from my professor back then. That was great, to do something new every day and the same thing every day, and make that even like a challenge.
Well, then I would just call this category wins, and then I would just explain how people can win, and you can discuss that in the. So, you want a trophy? What do you think? We can just put that in there. Ooh.
Yeah, trophy is fine. And then also what I think is really good for people is to journal, like do a journal, and then based on this journal, sometimes like roadblocks appear, and then it could be nice to make one category that is like their roadblock at that moment. Just get a solution, like which website builder should I use or something. It's like really stupid things, but that keep you kind of in place.
Question?
Yeah. Or even like problems. I don't know, like the questions or problems, something that keeps them from doing the things they love doing, and where this what makes them overthink, kind of. Yeah, roadblocks, blocks.
All right, and then perfect. Yep, there's a literal block. You can put some lotion, or let's grab road. Here we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, look at this. We're getting a tone. We're getting a yellow tone here. All right.
Work in progress could also be nice.
Block in progress. Well, that would probably just be a win.
Work.
Yeah.
Or wins.
Yeah. I mean, I can show you here. Let's see. So we've got I just call it Skool for the general wins news. Oh, you need something for your competition. Maybe a way to let people know you're reaching out.
And their portfolio, like, so that they can share their Instagram or YouTube to connect. Connection tab.
A connection tab.
Introduction.
Intro. There we go. I like that. Now I have a middle finger for mine, which does a really good job of setting the tone. I don't think you should do it for yours, but it's fucking funny. Just keep things like that in mind.
Something.
Probably, probably just like a hand wave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. Introduce yourself. Okay. Oh, look at this yellow theme. I'm digging it. All right. So now we need, we don't have a news. We don't have a competition. We don't have recordings or annual.
Maybe like a unicorn for anything else, something that is not a tab where they can just, share some things that are beyond the category.
Love it. What would you call it?
Anything else?
Anything. All right. How would you describe it?
Share your thoughts or things between the categories.
No, said.
Okay.
All right. Now you're right now we're doing a free community, but something that I recommend is for when you have a paid, give a section that gets preferential treatment, because sometimes it's hard to get to everyone's requests and feedback. If people are on your annual, you can do that. You don't need it though, because you're on free and you're making a free community. So you could have a recording section and also the competition section if you want.
Maybe I could also store the live calls then just in the classroom without a
Yep.
tab. I think that's a good idea. Or
All right. What do you want to call it? Recordings or calls?
what happened so far or recordings? Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you want to use it? Do you want to make it a yellow bell?
Or maybe like a red phone that I'm.
Beautiful. Recordings. Okay. And let's see where that sits. Refresh. Boom. We have space for exactly one more. And that's perfect because the last one I would probably do is your competition one. So
And
you were going to have
these short film sessions or.
Yep, the short film session, exactly.
Yeah.
So what would you put?
Your first film or your latest film?
Portfolio?
I think there was maybe also a name already for this. Let me just. Mini film challenge.
Mm.
Is it too long?
That should be okay. Let's see. And then movie. Which one do you like?
The clap is good.
The clapper. All right. Post your 1 minute challenge videos.
Okay.
Okay, and let's
nice.
see how we did. Oh, just a little bit too long. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this. I'm going to get rid of the question mark and see if that's all it takes. This is where we get really into the, we don't want to miss any little thing here. Okay, so we need to get rid of something else. Let's see.
Maybe explain, like, instead of anything, just other. It's a bit shorter.
Other, or do you like mini film? Could we make mini film one word?
Yeah.
You could make problems blocks. That would save
Yeah.
you.
Ooh. Oh, I like that. Boom, that should do it. Bam.
Perfect.
Look at how
So
clean
nice.
that is. That is so much better than the laziness of just like it definitely takes that extra time. Diana, you're a rock star. That was a great suggestion. So there's a cleanliness to this when you have it all together. So it's very, very important to take the time to consider what you're going to do there. Super, super important. Okay, how do you feel about this?
I really like the tab.
Order.
Sorry? Oh,
I
change the
would
order.
change the order, yes. The anything could go last or first.
Okay, let's go ahead. I usually suggest that I leave it to people to, oh, Sam, come on. This is awful.
Yeah.
I'll have to mention this to him.
Because I think the mini film is so important. So if that seems to be very last, it's also strange. You know, you could exactly say, yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Then you have the
Throw up.
yellow core. I think that's, and you start really with the thing itself, like the mini films. I could see that.
Okay. What comes next after minifilm?
Maybe put introduction the first, then mini film, inspo win, and that's fine then. Thank you.
Absolutely. There we go. How's
Looks
it look?
good.
Yeah, it does look good. God dang. This is less important. There's this rules portion here. This one's pretty straightforward. But you know, you can always dial that in. Alex usually explains that culture is the list of rewards and punishments that you have for a group. So you could, by that definition, use this. But you know, it's if you're doing your job in your community, most likely people should get the air of it, and you're not getting too many folks that are breaking it. But it's usually
one person signing up from an Instagram ad today. It's the guy who introduced, and his bio says something that is controversial. He's saying something like politics to be murdered by. I think it's coming from his background that maybe the government is not really doing a favor for him. But here I am a bit in doubt if I would like to keep it. You know,
I wouldn't really care too much about that unless it changes unless he's acting a certain way. This is relatively passive.
Is it not that those rules are currently not visible at all? Only you can refer to them in the moment when
Yes, that's right.
You would need to point them out in another place anyway. So those is for the automation of the responses for now.
So you could go into, that's a really good point, Diana. So you could hit this button and you can report to admin and you can select what it is they're damaging. And so this is a fairly new release where now when you're getting rid of a post or reporting it, you can tell the admins and you can tell the poster, here's what you did wrong.
I see.
Yeah. So that's where it usually sits. But she's right. It's not forward facing. It's more of a tool.
You have to do your guidelines and your rules and your start here or something.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to. The reason why I'm not focusing on it as much is because there's nothing more deflating to a community than telling them their rules. So, like, hey, here's what you can't do in this space. usually it's much more of an ROI to keep the culture of your community. And this is my experience. I won't say everyone should do this, but this is what I myself do and recommend to people. If culture is of value to what you're trying to do, then I would always recommend putting more of your labor into fixing people or guiding them in the right direction, but also fixing, correcting them if they're on the wrong path, and rather than just showing it to everyone.
I actually made a tweak. How we rule, that is an entry, and it's just like setting the culture.
Exactly. So for some communities, it will totally make sense. So it's totally up to you.
Funny enough, just like how we rule, but not this is the rules of the community. So it's more or less like this is like how we like to do things, and not like what we should not.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if I were to do that in Captivate, let's say we got a bunch of shitheads in the community and people were knocking around, I would probably be like the anti-shithead rules, or I'd say something that was like playful, stupid, aggressive, offensive. Don't be a shithead. Something like this.
They're explaining in the digital marketing training on that to set guidelines instead of rules. Guidelines feels more welcoming and more
That's right.
culture than rules, which is, but guidelines are like, hey, don't be a shithead. Like you said, that's a guideline.
Yeah. I only have one.
Not we will kick shitheads out because blah, blah, blah. It's just, here's a guideline.
Yeah.
It's safe for everybody if you're not a shithead, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a skid mark. Don't be a shithead. I'm sure there's a third one we could come up with. Just like, here's the list of things not to be. That's a really good point. So yeah, you can run with any of those options. Wonderful. Okay, so now we have a really good presentation. It's taken a lot of work behind the scenes to get to this point, but now you can refer to those things at any time. Let me find it here. Oh, what? Did I screw that one up? J Moss, J Man's info. There we go. So now, there, it's all highlighted out. Now, now that we've gone ahead and finished all of that, does anyone have any questions about categories? Great. Okay. Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory there. The next one is links. I noticed that you went ahead and filled these out, I think, after our call yesterday, Jonas?
Yeah, or today. But I was just testing it around, like it's not the final one.
Okay. This is one of your websites, right?
Yeah. And
okay, great.
Maybe in the next session we could like discuss what link to put there, because I figured out it's a bit weird to have my artwork portfolio there. It's like a mismatch because they come for the clients and then they see paintings. It's a bit.
Yeah. So I can talk about it now. Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, Joseph has a really great thing that he's contributed to the community that we now use as a staple, which is there is a massive SEO gain. Well, actually, it's Joseph's thing. Joseph, would you like to explain it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this particular page gives you a lot of domain authority for whatever blog or website or whatever that you're pointing to give it. And usually that would go to your main business page or the companion page to this. So if you had filmmakingworkshop.com or whatever, and then if that's kind of goes along with the keywords and everything of your group, you would name that the name of your, the text here is what you want to rank for. So if you want to rank for film production, that'd probably be pretty difficult. That's what your text would be here. But filmmaking workshop, maybe people could be looking for that. And if you put filmmaking workshop here and point to a page on your current blog or a page or a new page or whatever, it will give it enough juice to actually rank that term on your Skool page, because Skool is pretty powerful, almost like a Reddit power.
I think there's filmmaker workshop that is free, but filmmaking is not free. But I'll let you finish first. Sorry for the.
Yeah, but got it. That's exactly what you do. Film workshop. If you said that's available, then that could even work, and have film workshop point to it, because there's another thing that I'm going to be coming out with where you can, if you go public. Is this public or private, Goose?
This is private community. Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. That's where those are your only public links that pass high domain authority. So this is basically where you're wanting to pass that domain authority to. And so that would be to whatever blog or website that's yours that you're wanting to kind of connect in Harmony. You can connect it in Harmony, or you can give your website power.
I was having
And
a
I think
real
in Justin Peach, I think he was on here. He gave his website power so it helps it rank better, which is basically just a link that's pointing directly to his Reiki blog.
After all we discussed today, and maybe you have an idea how to call that whole thing, because I got stuck. I saved a lot of domains, and I have indiefilmmaking.com. I have filmmakingfundamentals.com. I have this Phantom Island, which I like, but it's not really doing the job.
Filmmaking fundamentals is probably a search term, meaning people probably type that into Google, that phrase right there. So that actually could be good, considering that it's got the keywords right in the top level domain. Filmmaking fundamentals. I mean, how many people do you think type that in? Probably a lot.
I mean, probably I was asking some old clients, they liked filmmaking workshop kind of. They were looking for that. But I think filmmaking fundamentals is also something they would like. You think filmmaking fundamentals would be a good idea? Do you think it fits the whole?
Yeah, and check this out. Filmmaking fundamentals. The fourth search on that is Reddit, which tells me that if you made this public, your entire feed here would go to Google search. And the fact that you're making it private, that's a problem. But if you made it public, since I just saw filmmaking or whatever, the fourth search item was Reddit. And that's because there's nothing on Skool that would match what's on Reddit. But if you matched what was on Reddit on Skool with your new community, you would be in the top 5 search terms for filmmaking.
That's really good feedback, because I never considered
it's killer.
The SEO side. You know, I was always asking them like, what do you vibe with more, or what is like, you know, and it was never really like a real decision.
Yeah, everybody can tell you right now that if they search anything, they'll see that Reddit's in the top 10 of all searches. But Skool should be in the top 10 because it's got the same authority and the same thing that Google's looking for. So it's going to be a natural progression. People will see that and go, oh my God, we can compete with Reddit? Yeah, Skool is as powerful as Reddit, even more powerful going in the future.
Yeah, that's right.
So
it's pretty. Should do that.
But that section right there should point to what you're giving it authority. So if it's your blog or your web page or something like that, you can juice it up with those links right there. And it should be related, because Max Pierce and some other people are like, don't distract your client with links right there. I agree, but if it's going right to the thing that's telling them about the thing, then it's not distracting them. It's still talking about the thing. It's just selling them and giving authority to it, in my opinion. And getting the domain authority from Skool, which is pretty significant.
I don't know your plans, Goose, to add on, but you think there's time that we talk about the whole website thing now? You think it could make sense? Or what is your time framing?
Well,
I think
we can do it without looking at them.
All right.
So we're going to follow the strategy of I will tell you what to connect and what it will look like. And for the time being, I'll go ahead and share again. And I'll tell you why we do that. We do that because right now, where your headspace is, it's still going to take us down rabbit holes that are not going to be contributing to the overall roadmap, which isn't a bad thing. But in my experience, it's always easier to show you the path, and then you on your own think about it, digest it, and you're like, oh, okay, I see why we skipped this part or didn't do that thing or didn't do that thing.
Okay. I mean, what we could do is that I kind of share the problems I'm facing, and then maybe we find a solution. If not, we move on.
Let me see if I can predict those problems. Give me a chance to predict them, and then we'll go through it. Because if you go through all the problems, you're gonna tell me what you think is the issue based off of what you're struggling with, which will likely not be the actual issue. So we're gonna do it backwards. Okay. So let me go ahead and can you guys see my screen again? Okay, great. So we're gonna go here into links. Now this is cool. We're taking advantage of what Joseph was talking about. However, you're right. It's not necessarily presented right. So whatever website you choose, there should only be one. And in this one, you can just make sure to say, here is my past, like here are the, like right here, you would just have something that says past clients top of it, right? And explain and put their logos or whatever you want if you want to do something like that, right? You can also do a minimalistic version, but you're showing these are your testimonials essentially. This is what your qualifiers. This is why people want to work with you, because you're good at what you do. And then underneath that, you say, work with me. And you have a button that's there and testimonials, which we're going to start getting for you. You already have a couple of them, but that's it. That's all it is. You just have those two categories that are ever on your website, and that will be one of the things here. So this would just be called instead, where the fuck is a links? So all the members can see, you're going to call this, and remember, always important to have emojis. Let's put some popcorn. That's pretty cute. Work with me. Nice and clean. So what happens is if they click on it, it's really there for the SEO and to show your credibility. That's why it's there. But if people want to keep exploring it, they can hit the link and it'll go right back to the community.
Why only members can see it? Because like that is the About Us page, that's kind of the landing page. And if you want to make that loop with like work with me, and I tell you again, that is one of the ways that should be visible for everybody.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I was going to get to that in just a minute. But she's right. Public is what we'd want to do with this. A lot of people will forget that this even exists. It was just like here floating on the bottom. But yeah, I would make that public. And I mean, I could see you making this one-on-one feedback public, but instead of feedback, this would be to get your, this is like an audit. Like, I'll tell you how you're doing. Now, you could keep it as feedback. New member.
Do you know if that shares between public and private? Like, is it only a combo of public and private, or could you have 6 total if you had 3 private and 3 public?
You can only do 3 total.
3, no matter what the combination of public and private. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, check it out. Like I was thinking I got new links, but I didn't.
Yeah. I know. Womp womp.
It would kill the layout. And you also have to be aware you only see it on desktop.
Yeah.
That part is not visible on mobile. So if you want to have one of those links really always visible, repeat them in the About Us text underneath with a text link.
Oh, okay. That's a great tip.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So yeah, your basically you'll see that there's a lot of numerology references on Skool. Sam's very into numerology, so you'll see 3s, 8s, sometimes 5s. That's just how it normally works, because also those numbers are often the easiest to digest. Like, for example, the number of over here on the side, the number of communities you can be a part of are 8. That kind of thing. Okay, do you like the red phone or the black phone?
Red is good.
Damn. All right. That's what I like to hear. Cool. So yeah, we'll leave that as private for now, but you can also make it public if you want to. And there you go. Work with me, a new member audit. I am immediately attracted to this area over here. Pretty cool. So let's see. You know, actually, I'm going to do a thing here. I'll show you. It just became really clear to me. We're going to change this to popcorn. And we're going to change the link to the clapper. Okay, beautiful. That should be cleaner. Okay, because we want people to be digesting these, and we want people to know that they can hire you or learn from you. That's more of what it tells. All right, cool. We all on the same page? Great. All right. Any questions about that from anybody? Oh, looks like Jonas is done. Cool. All right. Are you there? J-Man. All right, cool. Well, I guess we'll just hang out for a minute. The next thing that we're going to do, I'll re-explain it when we get there, is the classroom. Oh, portfolio. Look at him. He's starting to do stuff on his own. Boom. I love that sense of inspiration. Remember, this kid was like, as of 3 days ago, going like, no, I just bought this other software. It was like a one-time purchase. I don't really like Skool. I think I'm just going to go do this other thing. And look at how excited he is now. This is great. I love this shit. This is why it's a lot more fun, I think, for me to be working with like people that are at the beginning or mid parts of their journey rather than, I hate working with the corporate guys. High ticket's sometimes fun if I have like a good vibe with the person. I imagine a lot of people here feel the same way. If you're on par with if they're easy to work with, if it's not work, then that's the dream. All right. So while we wait, let's hear from everybody here. We got another. Oh, Jonas, you're here. I didn't even hear you. I can't remember. I can only have this little window in the bottom corner. Oh, I can't hear you. Your mic's off. That's why.
Oh yeah, I'm back again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just reported the pitch by accident, and then
Cool. I've just been sitting here thinking that you were dead. Okay, let's go ahead and share again. Perfect. So classroom. You will notice that the coolest looking classrooms, in my opinion. Oh wait, can you see? Nope, you can just see that one screen. Hold on, shit, I fucked up. I got to share the whole thing. Beautiful. All right. See, a good classroom does a great job of showing a connectivity between these things. It won't look as solid on mobile, but that's okay. There just should be some kind of cohesion. The only thing that the thing that you're most at risk of in a classroom depends largely on culture, which is cohesion and too much information. Because in the free community, you don't have to be perfect. You can have more information. That's perfectly fine. But as you get into a paid community, low or high, people actually want less information. They just want it in a focused manner. They're paying you so that it can be easy, fast, and low risk. And when you're getting a lot of information, as most of us will feel like, I'm going to make a course that's 22 hours, you get 22 hours of content. No one fucking wants that. No one wants that. You have to make sure that you're giving it as quickly and as efficiently as possible. That's what they pay you for. So if you can teach someone in 2 hours how to become a full-time filmmaker, everyone will buy that stuff. And everyone will be great.
I think you should talk about activation points, because I think those are really important. The 3 activation points that
They are,
every
yes.
community should have.
So let me go ahead and take you into the Odyssey really quick. So in free, activation points actually sit within the 4th section. That would be onboarding.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. So, but it's a great point, because normally it should be in a culture section. You're right. However, the reason why it's done in this way is because when you're beginning, before you've gotten beta clients for specifically this offer that you have, right? Like Jonas has past testimonials, he can use those, but he'll need to start testing it out with a few new people in order to get exactly the way he should be presented. And he'll learn some new things. When you're done with that, in that process, as you've gone through it, you'll probably find a few things that were like major epiphanies that you had for those beta clients. And you know what that becomes? Those major epiphanies become your activation points.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, this is the simplest way that takes you through from beginning to end in a very chronological manner. So, and it's weird because in a lot of ways, just as you were pointing out, you're right. It would make more sense on paper to do it the other way, but you actually arrive at it naturally by doing it in this form.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Great question, though. I love that you're bringing these things up, and keep doing that. It's clear that you're paying attention. There's a really, really good when you're that plugged into it, it means you're digesting this really well. So probably when you start applying these, it's going to be a fucking breeze for you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Okay. So here in where we were looking at classroom. All right. basically, I was just saying, at the very least, there should be, I mean, my biggest recommendation has to have a cohesion here across the board with that theme. This is your best opportunity to show off your theme, and then try and break down things here, make them fun, make them, something like that. For example, here under the clarity section, we now have, like, it's very clear what's going on, or at least it should be. And if it isn't, then, just constantly be refining it all the time. Okay. So with that being said, here you've got Roadmap, Odyssey, Blitz, which, fuck, I love this. Odyssey, Blitz, I'm so into it. I love these names. Where would you imagine yours would be? One. I'm going to show you what I mean. All right, so imagine now that these are your top 3 sections. What would you do? Imagine these are separate from this one. Imagine that this isn't here, just these 3. What kind of imagery would you have up on top?
So from the content, I would think first of make their first film so that they go out and do shoot something. And the second one would be kind of that they build a oasis for their work, maybe like a YouTube, Vimeo, or Instagram, just put the world out. And then the third would be to identify who they want to work with and what they can contribute so that they work on the sales for the work they want to do.
Okay.
And
sorry?
It's challenging to make it up from scratch for me right now.
That makes
Usually I
sense.
would do a mood chart or something first, probably, and then see what I like. And
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Well, I'll take you. Sorry.
Could it be a nice thing, especially like with that make share and like the make share win, to repeat that structure? So because like literally because you have that challenge as a centerpiece, so that would be really nice actually. So the start is probably you can even, do you want everybody to make that challenge? Or
that's a good
where
question.
you the admin part, like with start here is always like telling whatever you think, but that could literally go in the second row. But like if it's about the challenge, it could be like start the challenge here, and what would be the second, like the share, like how to interact with it, and what is all the things you can do, what would include the parts you just mentioned, and then the wins is just like probably how to collect feedback and how to get testimonials for that, or how to learn out of it, whatever. So you can literally use that structure for that.
I think it makes a lot of sense, especially considering it's like the free community kind of, to not give all of the things that could bring them money away for free, but then focus on this part of making a film and finishing it kind of, but like a 1-minute film or something. Did I get you right?
Mm-hmm. Because you have put that up in the most important thing to start with, so it would be nice if that would just like reflect the same structure in the classroom.
Yeah, and it's kind of approachable to do without building like this whole program around it already now that is teaching them really in-depth things. But then I think what I could do here is just show first films I made, how I made them, and then guide them through what clients I got out of them, even if it was not commercial jobs, like more as a not like as an instructional thing, but as a video series that shows
Shouldn't that
them just
unlock on level 3, Jonas? Like what you're saying, the demo of everything. So make them take the challenge, but they don't unlock number 3 unless they've taken the challenge, and then you show them all the stuff after they've taken the challenge. Meaning, then
Would you
they get
give
to
away-
unlock all of your stuff.
Would you give away all the information for free in the free community? I think that's
Yes.
a clever.
Yes.
And then what would be in the paid community if I create one?
Access to you.
Okay, so the coaching one-on-one or whatever group is.
Yes. You will find that everyone thinks that they want courses. You
see.
think that they want courses. But then when they get the courses, they don't finish the courses. And in fact, it's empty value. It's the least amount of resistance required. It's super easy to put in my credit card information, buy the course. I'm like, I have learned, right? But you haven't. And so they take all of that. You give them all the information as much as you want. And then when they're like, you know what, this might not be working, the reason why it's easier to have access to someone and their information there is because information is always more fun and exciting and easier to consume when you're dealing with people that way.
Okay.
I would even go so far not make the classroom expensive. Like, don't put so much in it. It's like literally like just my hunch from what I've learned from today and yesterday. It's start just with that challenge in the beginning and then see what the questions are that came up on a regular basis. That also gives you the feedback, what is really important to them. And you already have the list of all the things you think is important for them, but let them ask, because like if there's a pull, that is so much more attractive instead of just push all the information to them.
Mm-hmm.
So have them have a end goal, what they could create.
I just would start with the challenge. So like get started and then take it from there. So what else do you need? You know, so what would be the one thing that you could use now to, would it be starting the portfolio? Would it be, you could even let the community vote on what would the next most important thing be for them. So just like starting engagement and not have them leaning back and observing what you do for them.
I see a lot of merit in, you can lock this certainly, and then have these two as the engaged ones. That part's pretty much up to you, but you almost always want two sticky things in a community. You have, I always recommend a start here, because always assume people are stupid. You can show it to them 12 times and it won't happen. Same thing happens to me, same thing happens to all of us. We just don't retain it sometimes. So a start here is always very important, to just give a brief overview of everything that's going to happen in there. Then having a challenge and then something to build, something to compete. That's a great combination of things to have in there. So this one's information. It's also something that they can work with you in a group setting on. This is something that's they can work with the community on, especially, but then also work with you on. It fits well. So I think this is a great first step to start off on. And in fact, I'm going to add one more thing here. Make the most out of this. Yeah. Now remember, this is almost an anchor layout, so it works across platform very, very well to have something like this: a start, a competition, a build. Okay. What do you think?
Something also they would always like to learn is some technical aspects, like what is an ISO, how do I control my aperture, how do I at all open a video editing program, how do I structure my files, like all of these things.
Now, most beginners will make the mistake of making courses around that. What you need to do is anything that's technical, anything that's detailed, even in this case, portfolio stuff, you're going to be teaching that in the calls. You're going to be teaching that to the beta clients. You're going to be running through all that information. Anything that is nuanced and elaborate, do not put it, don't pre-make a course that way. That's where people get shot in the foot. They shoot themselves in the foot. You want to have these nice, lavish, clean goals. You're going to have a great portfolio. You're going to compete and make mini films. I mean, yes, I want those results. These are your results. You're going to know what to do. You're going to win a challenge. You're going to make a perfect portfolio. Awesome. everything that you teach is that, like the technicals, the hows, you don't advertise those things. That's just part of what you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I have been running through these one-on-ones, and like some of the things they repeat, and like my plan was to convert these into videos, because it's things like the 80-20 or how they create a structure for their program. I think it's repeating every time, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying never don't make that content. I'm saying the next time you're on a call with someone who's asking those questions, record that whole videos. From now on, record every single video that you do, because when you teach them,
I do that actually. I have
You
the
do?
videos, but then I don't
Okay.
have the permission to use them because it's like a private thing. I never said
Okay.
that I would publish them. So
Okay. So from now
but that's why I
on,
want to
if
put
they're
it
going to
into
work with
courses.
you, from now on, if they're working with you, you're giving them a result for free. In exchange, you get to use the footage, and their their testimonial comes to you at the end.
Okay, so following the process we're doing right now, like, and then also in that unedited manner, because I had one student and she was like, she's not gonna watch 1 hour videos. She wanted kind of to be
Yeah.
danced down.
And that's okay. You're not trying to, you're trying to, don't try and do too much all at once. The reason why they won't watch the 1 hour videos is because it's a lot of time investment. Remember, people don't take courses, but you did make it and you did put it on there. And so that's how the system works. You do the beta client thing, you make the course as a consequence of answering everyone's questions, and you give them the information. It is free if they want to put in the time. If they don't want to put in the time, they hire you.
Gotcha. Okay, so the time investment is kind of the reason why they end up doing just the one-on-one and get the answers.
Yes, that's right. Because unfortunately, there's actually a very big reason for this. Unfortunately, when you zoom out, the way it works is unless people sacrifice something, their time, their money, they don't absorb this information. It just doesn't happen. You need to you need to see someone have some degree of sacrifice in order to value what you're giving and apply it.
So it's basically about opening up the whole process, but then making it kind of too hard to maintain it while
Correct.
having a side job or something, and then you just want the instant answer.
Yeah,
I got
instant gratification is always short term and almost never long term. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
And then the fourth step would be kind of book a one-on-one if you have questions.
Well, actually, for the time being, I wouldn't. No, don't put calls in there. Calls. You don't want to advertise based off of everything I've seen on the platform. All the Skool games winners, all the stuff. They can win that, and that's a part of a module. But a call that's just shown up there will look salesy and cheesy. I don't like that stuff. Probably you don't like that stuff. You give them content and purpose, and as a consequence, they earn the right to do these other things. Remember, you cannot give them the call because they don't value it. It has to be earned, or it has to be delivered on the back end of something they've done.
Yeah. The only confusion I'm having is that in the description, it's saying get to 5K a month. But then the actual value in the course right now is that they make kind of their first film that could also be non-commercial.
Yeah, and that's
and
fine.
this is also where in the past I got confused, because then I thought, okay, this gotta be like a different project even, right?
No.
Like,
yeah. If I'm there's plenty of people with complete businesses around helping you find your soulmate. I don't know how quickly or how many people that are paying for that find their soulmate, and yet they stay clients. And the reason is because that's what they thought they wanted. What they thought they wanted was that thing. That's why we put the 5K out there, is because that's what people think they want. And what it turns out that they really want to do is they want to learn how to be better artists. They want to compete with friends. They want to have a place they belong. They want to have a better portfolio. And as a consequence of improving their lives in that way, the rest of the shit happens. They get more opportunities. They get better content. They get noticed more. And that's usually how it works. When you set out to, it's very esoteric here, so I'll try not to get too deep into it. But generally speaking, when you set out to be happy, you will not be happy. When you set out to do something you love, you will be happy.
Yeah, because the happiness comes from within, right? And then, like,
Well, in this,
if you
in
do
this
something
case,
to laugh, you get happy.
in this case, more specifically, however the universe was designed for us, it just turns out that happiness only ever comes as a side effect of something. It's never a product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So that's why we do it in this way, because the psychology of business comes up with the psychology of like value and fulfillment, and in our cases, joy, happiness. I mean, we want these people to be with us for a long time. And so you have to understand that on a grand scale, if everyone seems to work in this way, you have to work in that direction. So you're not really changing what you do so much, just how you do it.
yeah, it's kind of like the process is the goal, like the end is the goal. Like there's this poem by the Journey to Ithaca, and it kind of goes on and on and on, and like the people face like dangerous creatures and mermaids, and in the end they arrive at this island in Greece, and then it turned out it's all kind of the journey was
Wait,
kind of
wait,
the
you're
real-
talking about the Odyssey.
yeah, they actually do. It's by
Yeah,
George
that's what this
Camus.
is. That's literally what this is called. It's called the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And actually, who's the guy that filmed Inception and Batman movies? What's his name? It's really important. It just showed up recently. Someone help me out here. Sorry?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. There you go. So Christopher Nolan, he's coming out with in 2026 a movie called The Odyssey. He's remaking the Homer's poem. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
good
so
one.
we're sorry.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, another classic. So for today, we are just going to have these three things up here. Your job will be, and I'd recommend, in fact, here, if you want to, I'm redoing the same thing here. I was going to film it as I did it, so that's why it's there. But if you want to screenshot this here, welcome, community, learning stuff, leaderboards, calendar, all of this. These are the basics. It's the fundamentals. Like if I were to summarize in category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the best communities with the cleanest onboarding processes almost always have just these things at the beginning, because some people are new to Skool. Okay. So well, so now in start here, you're going to do exactly that. Go ahead and follow through. You're going to put a little thing about, do it here. You know who has a good version of this? I'll show you right now. Remember, always emulate communities that are doing the best. Yeah, I think it's Jack. Yeah, there we go. He does a great job with this. I do have to talk to him about cleaning this up, but here in the start here, look at how nice this is. Welcome, community, classroom, calendar, save money, guidelines, like this. This is what you want. Something like that. And so itemize what where did I put it? I'll leave it here, classroom, start here, okay. And, oh, that's why it keeps doing that. So in your classroom, what I would recommend that you do is basically, here, let me show you another example. I'm actually working with, I'll show you one more example here that should kind of clarify why this is so important. Do it this way. So Atena just won those Skool games, and they're doing great. But here, one of the things that we've been talking about is that these here are like it's hard to follow. They have a lot of content and it's all really good, but it's quite robust. And that's always the challenge, is not getting the information. It's trying to bring it into a way that is easy to digest. And that's currently I mean, no matter what your size is, that's always going to be the biggest thing that you're sort of fighting against, is how to make sure your get started is nice and clean and not necessarily overwhelming. Like when I look at this, I'm overwhelmed. This is not the kind of thing you want, especially for a paid community. And so that's on one side. Now, it's great because it means your delivery, you're putting everything in there and you want it to be good. It's just challenging to digest information at that level. Does that make sense? So you always, the point of it is that so that I really want to impress on you that as you're filling out these three things, do your very best to not be thorough, but to be simple. Because you can always add more information in calls, but it's very hard to remove information once it's built. Much more difficult. So I'll leave you with this then.
Yeah.
I think here, the next thing that we can do, and I'd recommend you get started on Canva probably, is you would go ahead and just do a light build out and then just do some big picture that kind of connects together. You can use, I mean, if it's too complicated, don't get too stressed about it, but really anything should work there. You're basically just trying to follow with all of these things. Oh, not that. Oops. Where did I put it? Sorry, I'm all over the place. Follow with everything that we wrote down here. All of these, especially this big theme. I'm sensing like nice blue, purple tones, right, with a little bit of red and orange. And you're going to inject that here into ideally a picture that connects all together. Similar to what I do here.
I think from the approach I tried to do, I focused more on giving them the perfect process so that they kind of get the tools, but this is more putting like the end goals kind of as a reward. And that's maybe they stick through it. Yeah, I will give it a try.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We always sign up for things because we want the result. We don't want the process in between. And when it comes to the labor that's involved in these things, it's always, remember, you want them to keep doing the process. That's more important than them having a full roadmap with every little detail. Because in that case, if they follow with it, awesome, all is good. But most likely what will happen 99% of the time is a perfect process ends up not working for a person. You have to have a simple process.
But then again, like I'm not getting into an argument. Like it's only one student. She wanted like this database of, okay, when I have this problem in Premiere Pro or something, like what do I do? And then she told me she does have this full-time job and then she doesn't want to hop on a call with me, but actually just wants like this 20-second video. And then, so I thought about building this archive kind of and like collect their problem, make it searchable and have like, okay, you have a problem with the scaling of a video, just do this. But
there's nothing wrong with that.
Take a lot of time.
It will take a lot of time. She's asking for a lot for nothing. So usually those are going to be your most miserable clients. I don't know if she's paying.
850 a month for 4 calls. I think it's
okay.
But
all right, well, that is a lot. But I mean, when you're getting started, it makes sense to put the time in and just build these things out with people. So if you wanted to later on make a little a stack of Loom responses that you make, like, hey, I heard your issue, here's what I'm going to do, and you just kind of like punch through it, that's great. Just be careful not to, we've actually done this before in the past, when we got in the habit of answering people's questions like that, they got in the habit of not trying to figure it out themselves. And so we'd be repeating ourselves and showcasing it again and again. And it gets to that point where at some area, you do have to draw a line because you want them to learn and you also don't want to burn yourself out. So just be cautious of that because you can go into that direction.
There's a lot of little decisions actually to do.
Yeah, that's right. So you just want to be really focused on the larger overall things. So
You have a
sorry?
Maybe just like when you say so many little things to consider and so hard to do, be just very aware of what your value is. You know, they can ask YouTube for those technical questions. That is not the value you bring in. So I always would ask myself, is that actually what I'm here for? If that is what I enjoy, because this is my community, I need to do that. So I have to put work in it. So if I don't enjoy it, I make something really wrong. So but those questions, do I enjoy it? Is it the value I bring to the table? And then probably a lot of those decisions are not so hard anymore.
That's a really good point.
And I put in the chat a quote from my professor. Sorry for the guys here. It was in German. I think there's not a on-point translation for that, but it's literally like if you want to aim always for completeness, that's shabby. So it's like the German one was Vollständigkeit ist schäbig. So it's just like, just don't. You take away the excitement, you take away that thing that makes it interesting. When you try to answer everything. So,
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like over perfectionism kind of kills the vibe, and then
That's right. You cannot be too over perfect. So, okay, well, I hope you guys loved this. I know it's very long, but I want to be thorough in this process. Again, we're talking about a balance of things, but this is what the high ticket looks like, the way that it's built out. So please let me know if you have any last questions. I just want to say one thing. Tomorrow, the next time we meet, which we'll arrange right now, is will be clients. So we're going to go through how to line up your beta client system and what you're going to deliver to them. That one actually is pretty straightforward. So it'll mostly just be questions for clarifying things and having a nice SOP for you to run through. Yeah. So that should be pretty fun. Cool. All right. We got any questions for that before we schedule our next one?
Well, we have one.
Hit me.
Sorry, is it okay? It is a question concerning the things that we dealt with yesterday.
Please.
When I watched the video or the replay, I watched you waiting for something when you were finding the right words for the offer. And for the discovery search offer thingy, you know what I mean? And I was asking myself, what were you waiting for? What was the thing that you were thinking about? Well, I think digesting somehow the words that were coming, and I thought, okay, how do you know that something is catchy enough or that something is right?
So the anchor offers are no-brainers that are so good that they're cringy.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's borderline cringy and it feels like it's salesy, then you're on the right track. Okay. I'll get you abs in 30 days. I'll get you 10K in 30 days. I'll get you, you'll meet your soulmate in 30 days, right? And then all of those without your thing. They sound so fucking bad, and yet there's nothing that sells better.
Good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, I know. That's my pondering was because teaching something cringe like that is very delicate, and I hate it.
You're literally saying to be cringy on that?
For the offer, yes. The offer has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Yeah, it is the one thing.
That's so
it's like-
hard. That is
it's
so
your-
hard.
It's your gatekeeper to all things that are you in business. And it's so
Yeah.
hard to create something that has to be so separate from you. But, you know, a lot of what we were talking about today with culture was very psychologically focused. And that's really what you're coming up against is people that are struggling with a thing don't yet have the perspective that they would require in order to solve the thing. That's why it takes an outside force. Yeah. And so for better or worse, you have to give something that is so cringy that they sign up. And then you give them, remember, it's always the same line. You sell them what they want because they don't know what they want. You give them what they need. You don't change your offer of what you actually do. You just change the doorway that they come in.
And just a quick feed on that, because Onyx, I don't know if anybody's heard that guy talk about this all the time. Does that get you in trouble with the FTC at all? Like, is that FTC issues where you're promising this result, but that's not exactly what you're talking about?
I mean, if you're making a lot of money, yeah, FTC will get upset about that if you're doing 30 days or something like that. So I use that as an example, but most of our things,
Like if you're saying in a time frame or whatever?
yeah, because that could be considered a promise.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So usually I just say achieve this thing, which can still be lavish and crazy without this thing that you don't want. And that's like the perfect cringy anchor offer.
Gotcha. Get this amount of money without having to be an expert. That's kind of like that formula.
Yep.
Not in 30 days.
That's right.
Gotcha. Okay. That would get you in trouble potentially.
Yeah, if you're at scale. I mean, they're not going to care about a small guy, especially if you're delivering results. FTC gets involved when people start complaining usually. So
right.
you've
Right.
pissed off some people and you're not refunding them.
And you're making $5 million a year.
Yeah,
You're getting in trouble.
I mean, people usually get flagged by the FTC unless you had a bad breakup and that person's just trying to bury your reputation, right? Likely the FTC is at your door because you're doing something that's pissing people off.
Wrong. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And if it's for the free community, how to
They're
refund
not
them at all?
paying
You know?
anything.
Yeah,
That is-
if it's for free, then there's nothing.
that is so. but
You can
like for
promise the
high-
moon if it's free, right? What you're gonna get in trouble for?
Yeah, really. Yeah, at that rate, I don't know what the policy is on that, but I can only imagine. Yeah, it's not that bad. Well, you said you'd
Politicians
give-
do it all the time.
Yeah, I don't see the FTC up there as.
No, exactly.
No, that's right. So great question. Those are good.
Yeah, I think for the high ticket, something like whatever you phrase should kind of hold in court is another thing to think about. But if it's for the free thing, it's give the money back.
Yeah, exactly. Just if you've got a good service and you believe in it, just give the money back. It's always the best strategy for these things.
Yeah, especially if they haven't paid anything. So.
Here, you can have your free back. I understand.
No, it's like that would be actually really a funny thing to tell. Like if 100% money back guarantee for a free community would
Yeah.
like increase the take rate.
Actually, I might put that in the bio on the free community, the captivated free community. 100% money back.
10-second refund guarantee.
Yeah. It lifetime refund guarantee.
Yeah, lifetime refund guarantee.
I'm gonna do that actually. That's really good.
That's amazing. Lifetime refund guarantee on a free community.
And you know, Joseph, when it rhymes, it's true.
Yeah, that's right. I can never spell guarantee, but you know what? It's fine. I've got it.
There you go.
Beautiful. Lovely. These are great questions, you guys. And these are the kinds of conversations. It's very like we've just finished having a 2-hour discussion about these things. And because all of our brains are just like soaking in this space, you start being able to interact kind of on a very specific level. So these questions that are coming up are really good and they don't often arise without the right input. Love it. Anything else? Cool. Jonas, how you feeling? Oh, the cat has a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you probably taught me the most valuable lesson, like just doing it and then asking for forgiveness later on. So that just basically means just go for it. Just do more, and then care about the stuff that might get you in trouble.
That's right. Yeah, I very much believe in that one. It pisses Sam off all the time, but yeah, I very much believe in doing that process because
The ask forgiveness later policy.
yeah, be willing to take full ownership of the thing. You fucking did it, but just do it, right?
Honestly, I'm now more tempted to get into a little bit more of trouble.
You go.
And she's German, so that's how you know that we're making.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but German and not German, so it depends on how you see that. So
Yeah, well, we've already completely ruined Mignon over here, who breaks rules all the time now, and she's also German. I mean, I'm sorry to your country at this point.
Where are you from, Mignon? Which city?
From Berlin. So
I see.
yeah, and I worked in a very similar field like you. I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. All right, last two things. Jonas, how are you feeling right now?
I mean, it's super nice to talk with you all, and like I guess I said it a couple of times, like I'm happy for that like situation to come up, super spontaneous with the call we had. So I just take it in and try to work with that.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can have a call tomorrow. I don't mind it.
Sure.
Like, but it's also if you all need like a couple days, or I mean,
Let me see.
can
Well,
also
I
do-
have had 10-hour days of calls for the last 3 days, so I will need
Yeah.
a break. But
yeah,
I
that's fine.
think, let me see. Tomorrow's Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna take Sunday off. I have still 1 2-hour call, so I'll take care of that. But I say we reconnect Monday.
Monday 5, your time. I think it's 8 or something.
So the
No.
only thing is, it would have to be 11 a.m. because we have the mastermind going on.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and shoot for, I could do 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific time. Does that work for everybody? It'd basically be right now on Monday.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Sounds
that's
good.
great.
So I will go ahead and arrange that. Give me 1 sec. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh no. All right. Well, let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's fix that. Send. And then, yeah, 10 a.m. So this will be Odyssey. What a weird word to spell. Part 3. And what was your email again that I'm sending it to, Jonas?
I think I posted.
Oh, there it is. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, so you are added in there. So I will see everybody again for another 2-hour session, our 3rd of 6, to build out the full community. So if you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out to me. This is where I'm spending all of my headspace for the next little while. So use me if I can help with something. All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much for being here. Bye, everybody.
See you. Bye, guys.
Later.
Later.